pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I get the administrator to take a roll call attendance, please?
Trustee Pelkey.
Here.
Trustee Menard.
Here.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Here.
Trustee Arno.
Present.
Mayor LaBounty.
Here. We'll now open the meeting to the public. We have no one that signed up to address the board. We're now going to vote on accepting the minutes of the August 15th regular meeting. All the trustees should have a copy of those minutes. Is there any changes or amendments that you'd like to make to those minutes? Or if not, then I need a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
All those in favor of accepting the minutes of August 15th?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Minutes accepted. Mr. Treasurer, Mr. Letourneau, any bills that you want to bring to the board's attention?
There are no additions or deletions this evening.
And in regards to the bills, I need a motion to accept those bills unless there's any questions on those bills and have them paid.
I make a motion to accept the bills as printed.
Second on that?
Second.
All those in favor of paying the bills?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The bills will be paid. Mr. Administrator, Mr. Latchmore, any correspondence that you want to read into the record?
The only thing I'd like to do is give the board an update for the chiller here at the Civic Center. Lou from Troy Boilers contacted the village office today. The start date was supposed to be tomorrow, September 7th. One of the parts they were looking for has not came in, so the start date is now going to be either Thursday or Friday, and it's going to be 10 days before the chiller will be repaired. So with that being said, we're still right on schedule to where we should be.
Excellent, very good.
Very good. Anything else, Mr. Latchmore?
That's all that I have.
In regards to reports I'll start off. We have a resolution 2022-20 budget modification, and that is the village and the union recently signed a contract, and it was over the scheduled end of the contract year, so we had to make some modifications and pay some back pay. That's what this resolution is about. It's 2022-20, the budget modification. Any questions on what I just said? Any of the board members? If not, then I need a motion to pass this resolution.
So move.
And I'll have the administrator take a roll call vote if you would.
Second?
No, I'm gonna have Mr. Latchmore take a roll call vote.
Oh, okay, oh, you needed a second, no?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Trustee Pelkey.
Aye.
Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
Trustee Arno.
Aye.
Mayor LaBounty.
Aye, resolution 2022-20 has passed by unanimous consent of the board. The second item on the agenda was the Champlain EMS renewal contract, and that contract will be renewed on January 1st of 2023. I'm going to table this for a vote because we have received from the EMS services a new contract that is somewhere over, I think it is, Mr. Administrator, over $53,000 or $56,000 increase from the previous year. So I think as a board, we should discuss this item and look at some alternatives if we have some before we vote to accept this. Anyone else on the board have anything different they want to say? So
I
believe the exact amount was 54,000.
54,000 to be exact, trustee Menard has said, so I said, based on the huge increase, I think it's in our best interest as a board to discuss this, to find out pretty much why the increase and see if we got alternatives to this EMS service. But we'll discuss that at a later date, maybe in an executive session. So we're gonna table that for now. That's all I have to say. Trustee Arnold, do you have anything you wanna bring up?
Yes. Up on State Street, well, just a few things. Up on State Street, the sidewalk is just about covered right next to the railroad track on both sides, with grass and tall grass and stuff, and it's right out into the sidewalk. And I'd like to see if the village crew could cut it back at least a foot off the sidewalk or something like that.
Okay. Is any of this, trustee Arnold, covered of the railroad property?
No,
Okay.
no, it's village property.
It's all, okay, because I was gonna say we can ask permission if we have to go on their property, but it's all.
Oh, it's right next to their property, I mean, you know,
Okay.
it's bordering between the tenants and the railroad, so.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
that's something we can get Mr. Menard to address.
okay.
Anything else?
Yes, just an FYI, the fire department is getting all their hose tested today, and tonight they're still doing it, and the guy said he'll be done in a couple days. And usually it takes 4 or 5 days for them to have this hose tested and stuff, but they got a crew of 8 people over there right now, and they're testing the hose and stuff like that, so.
Okay, perfect.
And also, the Historical Society is having an open house October 15th at the Legion from 12 to 5. And they would like to have any people in Rouses Point that had any old pictures to bring them in, and we'll identify them or whatever. And also the Historical Society, myself, and the village historian will have photos there of old places and books and stuff to look at. So if anybody wants copies of them, we'll have a copy machine there, and people can take copies and stuff, whatever ones they want and stuff like that. So, but it's gonna be you're gonna have to pay for the copies, so it's not free, because paper and ink and all that stuff is expensive. And one other thing, the filing cabinets, nobody bid on, as far as I know. So the Legion is looking for some filing cabinets. I think if we could give them, have Dick Baker come down, or Bob St. John's come down and look at the filing cabinets we have at the village, and if we could give them to them. Seeing that nobody else wants them, or nobody bid on them.
For salvaging.
Mr. Administrator, should we take a vote on whether we give those away? At this point, I believe we should, just to make sure the village is in a good standing as far as giving away any taxpayer property. I think it's proper that we call this to a vote.
Absolutely.
I will, in this situation, take a roll call vote for this. It's usually a budgetary item, but since it's property and being given away, I think we should take a roll call vote, Mr. Administrator.
So, Benny, are you making a motion?
I make a motion that we give the Legion whatever they need. I don't think it's over 4 probably filing cabinets, something like that, or 5 at the most.
Okay, I don't see a problem, but I just wanna make sure
Yep.
we cover our bases and
Yep.
make sure we're giving away taxpayers'
Yep.
money.
Yep.
So,
So-
Mr. Arnold has made a motion on the floor for the village to donate this to the American Legion if they have a need for it. And Mr. Administrator, you take a vote, please.
Trustee Pelkey. Aye. Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
Trustee Arno.
Aye.
Mayor LaBounty.
Aye. So with a count of 5-0, the board has voted to donate these file cabinets to the Legion if they can use them. Anything else, Mr. Arnold?
Yes, and also I'd like to see, like on a rainy day or something like that, if the village crew can clean out some of that stuff that's in the back room, that's no good. like them old doors that's got a big wheel on them or whatever that Batha got from, Wyeth and stuff, I mean, they're no use to anybody or nothing. I mean, it's just an old door and stuff and some metal brackets in there or whatever that they run on and stuff like that. If we could get rid of them, throw them in the junk pile or the scrap pile of metal and clean out some of that garage and stuff, it's a mess in there.
Now, the garage you're talking about is to the south of where we parked
The tanker,
the tanker?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there on the floor and everything, and some old pieces of plywood and old pieces of pipe and stuff like that, and, you know.
Okay, no. Anybody have any comment on that? No.
I think we should get rid of it. It hasn't been used
No,
in that long.
if we have it.
Well, we can't use,
Winter's coming, we need the storage for,
these filing, they went to racks or whatever, that you take and turn the wheel like this, and it moves the racks or whatever and stuff like that. And they're just sitting there, they're no good for nothing.
They're just taking up space for a
Right,
reason
yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, when I go in the office, I'll talk to the administrator and we'll get Mr. Menard to look at that. Like you said, when they have a rainy day, that'd be a good opportunity for them to do
Right,
that.
yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. Trustee Arnold?
No, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Menard?
just one, I got a question for Chris. Have we, heard anything on the four-way stop sign? We were gonna ask the county or the state.
Okay, so I did some further research on this, and I'm glad you brought it up because I forgot all about it. So I did some additional research on it, and the way that it's actually written through New York State DOT is that it says that the municipality should have an engineer evaluation. It doesn't say that they must. So I contacted NICOM and talked to Wade, and what Wade indicated to me is that with it being should, you don't need to do it, it's only recommended. And he said the village has two options. Option number one is you can make a resolution to make that a four-way stop intersection. Other option would be to put a local law to make that a four-way stop intersection. So it's whatever the board deems right.
And just to clarify it, Mr. Latchmore, so the people at home, the people here would know, what street are we identifying for the four-way stop?
So the four-way stop is Maple and Pine,
Maple and Pine Street.
yes.
Okay.
There was a complaint brought into the village office.
Okay.
I think it would stop, not stop, but maybe slow down a lot of our traffic in front of the school area and.
And that's not, I mean, I know it's not, obviously not a state road, it's not a county road or anything either, right?
Right.
No,
So,
village road.
That's all within the village, so I think we're good.
I guess, Mr. Renee, what would be the best solution? Would it be a local law or just?
Resolution would be by far the easiest way, because then you don't have to file anything with the state or anything like that, you just pass it by.
I think since Mr. Latchmore checked with Nikon and we have that ability, I agree with our legal counsel that the resolution would probably be the best and easiest way to go. So,
And also on the same note, recently, legislation has passed that a village may now adopt a speed limit of 25 miles an hour within the village limits. So before you were limited as far as the number of streets that you could post the speed limit of 25 miles an hour, now it's unlimited. And this was just passed,
That's for village streets only,
village streets only,
and they're all at 25 now.
not
Yep.
all of them.
Everything except Lake Pratt and Champlain,
Those are
state highways.
Those are state highways.
Yes.
yeah. 'cause
So
the
it
only-
wouldn't,
the
it
only-
wouldn't affect state highways.
No,
there's 11 or Champlain or Lake Street or Pratt Street, that's all
State.
state.
But right now, as we currently set, everything is 25 mile an hour through the village. It just, is it being enforced? Probably not.
Okay. We
Well, I
can,
know
we
it
get,
ain't. For for sure.
We can always address our concerns once again to the sheriff's department if we have to, that we've had some complaints about, within our village boundaries of exceeding the 25-mile-an-hour limit.
One question I had, we're talking about resolution local law regarding stop signs. I believe in the village code, there is reference to like speed limits, as Brian was saying, so I think that if we had to change something, that may have to be by local law. I don't think there's anything in the village code that talks about stop signs or stop sign locations, so that's why I think you can do it by resolution rather than by local law.
There is a whole pile in there about stop signs under
In-
the local law.
In village
Okay.
code,
In fact, when they added the stop signs at the corner of Academy Maple and Chapman and Maple, they amended the local law for that.
okay, so if it is in our village ordinance, then we may have to do that by local law rather than by resolution.
Okay?
Because then we'd have to file that, and that would then modify our village code.
And also the one on Chapman and, Delaware,
Yes. So,
because that was done at the same time as Chapman and Maple and, Clinton and Maple, or not Clinton,
Academy.
Academy and Maple.
Those are all done by local law, or something, you think?
Yep.
I seem to recall that too, that's, maybe think about that when you're talking about the speed limits, because I know in the village code, there certainly is reference to speed limits, I couldn't remember about stop signs, so yeah, we would have to do that by local law.
Okay.
And so if you wanna, at least you can make a motion regarding that, or ask me to, I guess, prepare that local law, I can then do that.
Okay. Very good. Anything else, Mr. Menard?
No, that's it for this evening.
Trustee Pelkey?
First thing I have is, I wanna welcome a new business to downtown. We see that we have Tommy's Comics back at
Minnie's.
Kathy's Furniture's old store. It's nice to see the storefronts being filled again. The second thing I have is I need an executive session.
I'll second that.
All those in favor of the executive session called by trustee Pelkey?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The executive session will take place. Anything else, trustee Pelkey?
That's it.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yeah, since we're gonna talk about reaching out to the sheriff's department about the speed limit, can we reach out to them about, since we have a contract, we're supposed to be patrolling, if they can patrol at night, Mr. Administrator? There's been a couple villages, or a couple businesses in the village that have been defaced, and other property in the village has been defaced with graffiti and stuff. And we don't need that going on in our village.
Absolutely.
Anything else, trustee Rodriguez?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Cooper, do you have a report to give to the board?
Yes, everything is moving along pretty smoothly. I think that lady that you just talked about there, I approached her 2 or 3 different times, but I will approach her again tomorrow morning.
Very good.
But the thing is with that, that's a toughie, because the daughter lives next door to myself, and I've mentioned it to her several times, and that was supposed to be taken care of. But the day that I went down there too, actually talked to the lady there, apparently she's pretty sick. Like I said, there was an officer there, and he was taking this other gentleman away, and I didn't want to get involved in that, and that was just last week, so. I will approach him tomorrow morning, though. Anybody else got anything else they want me to take a look at?
No, I mentioned to trustee Cooper about one property that was, I got a couple phone calls at my house, some complaints on it, and I mentioned to Court Officer Cooper that he was gonna address it. Anybody else have any concerns about any property that?
The fence that's going in on the property where the Holland was, is that legal?
He's far enough away from the sidewalk, and it's a visible fence, you can see through the corner of the woods, it doesn't block the corner view,
Yeah,
for traffic.
okay.
So when I approached him about it, he said, what if I do, I built a house here. I didn't know what to, because the Holland Hotel was right to the sidewalk, as we all know. I said, we're not discussing that now, we're just discussing your fence.
Exactly.
But, well, with respect to any kind of building on that property, it's still gotta comply with the front yard setback, just because the Holland Hotel was there at one point, there's been nothing there for a long time. So, once that pre-existing structure would be moved, any structure on that property has to comply with the front yard setbacks, whatever would be in that particular zone,
Exactly.
so.
Anything else, Mr. Cooper?
No, sir, I don't have any more. That's good.
We have nobody that wants to address the board So we'll now take a
Make a motion, we adjourn
adjourn for executive session.
or recess.
Second?
All those in favor of adjourning for an executive session?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are now going to executive session.
See you, Scott.
Yeah, have a good night.